Okay, so small technical flaws is the number one reason that some people are not getting return clients when it comes to airbrush. I'm going to go through three right now and how you can fix them quickly. You spent the money on the equipment, but you're making these mistakes. So your airbrush is costing you clients, it's not getting them. I'm going to show you how to fix those quickly. So, mistake number one is going to be selling your nail art. Now, people are saying, like, well, I use only the acrylic paints and it chips and this, that, and the third, or they wear the tips off really quickly. What do I need to do? Base coat. And I assure you, it doesn't have to be a super expensive one. I do love a Coupa base coat. So you cap your designs in base coat. If you're going to be using an acrylic airbrush paint, I do love to airbrush over a matte, and I will use my Coupa for that also. Now, all of these little tools that I'm using that I love are actually in my guide that is down in the description box below. So you can grab that free. And we're just going to keep rolling through the tools, but I have everything linked for you there. So grab that free, but I want you to pay attention to number two. Another reason people are getting like chipping, or maybe it's just not drying as quickly, is because you're too close to the nail. So I did a video about this a while back, and I'll be sure to include that down below as well. But what you want to do is you want to hold the airbrush literally about an inch and a half away from the nail. And especially if you're doing an ombre, you want to do a 40-degree angle. So right on top is 90, and then we're going to go up to about 40. But you want to keep your hand level to your table, like parallel. And so you would move the handpiece up or down like that, and it's always our trigger finger pulling back here. So a lot of times what I'm seeing is nail techs are yanking all the way back on that trigger, and they're putting too much paint at one time. But if you go on a nice 45-degree angle, real soft, and just a millimeter pull back on that trigger, guess what you'll get? A soft, even spray. And you want to think of your airbrush handpiece just like if you were using a gel brush in order to apply gel to the nail. Two even thin coats is always better than one big wet coat, right? Because if you add too much gel, guess what? It doesn't cure. But if you add too much paint, guess what? It doesn't dry, right? So that's a huge issue. And it also causes customers to have to come back and they're like, oh, this girl just doesn't know what she's doing, blah, blah, blah. You should be practicing your nail art and like using your airbrush before you get to the client, because you do not want to be practicing on the client. Why? It wastes time. You want to be proficient when they get there. Also, because they consider you like a newbie or a beginner and you're practicing on them, then they think that you should charge less. We're not in the business of charging less. We're in the business of charging for our work. Just like if you're at a 9 to 5, you get paid for your work. So that's two. Number three, the third thing I see is stencil placement. So when looking at nail stencils, you have the sticky kind and you also have the mylar kind. I'm noticing that a lot of the new techs start out with the mylar kind, which do not have, they have some flex, but not like super flex. And so you're running into issues where you're not able to get a solid design finish, and the client is also not helping you. So for new techs, especially, or just for techs that's really trying to hone it, and when I say new, I'm thinking you've been doing nails 3 to 5 years already. You know how to do nails. You don't have a problem with that. You're just trying to sharpen this airbrush skill, sharpen this muscle. Use a sticky back stencil. It will make for cleaner lines, more even shape, and the design will come together quicker because you don't have to think about it. You just pick up your stencil, place it, spray, and go. You don't have to pick up your stencil, place it, tell your client to hold their finger straight. Then they rock it around. They trying to see what you're doing. Now they stiff fingering you. Oh my God. Use the sticky ones. Now, below, like I stated before, I do have that free guide. It's going to go over my tools and tips and tricks, my favorite airbrush hand pieces that I love. Um, I have videos, to show equipment. It's linked to there. And what's even more important is I have a practice sheet that you can print out and actually trace and get an understanding of where your nozzle is pointing when you're airbrushing. Totally free, made by me. Okay. So, and now you got the foundation. You know that you can charge premium pricing for this. Even though you're going faster, they're not paying for your speed, they're paying for the skill, but you want to charge based on your skill, and you still want to be speedy Why? Because you make more if you're more efficient, right? And we're not in the economy where we cannot make more. So before you can start charging those premium prices, you honestly need to see what actually is available and what things you could do with the airbrush. And believe you me, it is so much. So much. There's so many things you could do. I'm gonna go through that in the next video. I don't want these videos to be too long, so go ahead and just watch the next one that's coming, or you can click down below and you can watch video number 3 in this series.